after this chopper pilot came across a mysterious SOS sign. Police made an astonishing discovery. In May 2017, an Australian helicopter pilot was circling a remote section of the coastline. At that moment, he noticed a sign that appeared to be carved from pebbles. Actually, it was SOS, the world's distress signal. Nevertheless, was the request for assistance sincere, or was it the result of some practical jokers after all? The location was incredibly difficult to get to, and 620 miles from the closest metropolis. The closest populated area is the Aboriginal settlement of Columboro, about 75 kilometers to the east. Without a boat, helicopter, or strong four-wheeler, getting in and out of Swift Bay is a huge challenge. The bay's strong climate, which alternates between tropical, wet and dry seasons, makes it an extremely unsafe place to be stranded in. There can also be heavy rain and cyclones. A search operation was quickly launched when the pilot reported what he had witnessed to authorities. Yet Western Australian police had to hire a helicopter charter firm because the place was so difficult to get to. They conducted an aerial examination of the area surrounding the spot and failed to discover any signs of a living human being. A ground investigation of the area, however, turned up only a few more hints, with the exception of the potential for camping there. No one could estimate the sign's age, which raised the question, where had its creator gone? Had he or she made up their minds to depart the area, or would they come back? Or had the creators succumbed years ago? The cops issued a request for information, despite having very few leads to follow. They launched an appeal for anyone who could have any information on the person who might have been in trouble and could have made the sign. On the other hand, the Australian outback is renowned for its hostile and, in some cases, completely uninhabitable environment. The fact that most major cities in Australia are situated along the shore is largely due to this. In rural Australia, explorers would have to deal with harmful snakes, spiders, animals, and bushfires, to name a few. There were countless tales of unprepared explorers in the bush who either disappeared without a trace or barely made it through unimaginable hardships. The case involving the SOS sign in Swift Bay, Western Australia, was more difficult to unravel though. That was until Anthony Davis got in touch with them and claimed to have the solution. Davis had viewed a news piece about it. A senior sergeant claimed 2013 saw the stranding at Swift Bay of Anthony Davis's brother, Robert, and a female companion during a disastrous sailing expedition. It soon became clear that Robert had created the sign in order to explore the bay and find a freshwater spring. Robert and his roommate, Joan, had anchored approximately 550 yards offshore. They had departed in an inflatable dinghy. The two anchored the dinghy to a rock after they reached land safely. They then noticed a gigantic crocodile that measured 11 feet long coming straight towards them. They hurled pebbles at the beast as they fled to safety. The crocodile, though, showed no signs of being deterred. He wasn't the least bit deterred. The crocodile approached the boat and tore off the inflatable pontoon's back. The two were stunned to learn that they wouldn't be returning to their ship anytime soon, because everything transpired so rapidly. Robert and Joan were now stranded without food, water, or any means of communication with the outside world. Luckily, they managed to locate the fresh spring that had drawn them to the bay in the first place for food. They were able to harvest oysters during low tide. Several days had gone by, and Robert built the SOS sign to draw the attention of any passing vessels, while Joan kept a lookout during the shellfish forages. Both of them had to keep a close eye on the crocodiles, too. After a couple of days, they realized that there were at least 2 crocodiles. Finally, on the 8th day, the pair was found and rescued. It was quite an emotional moment. Joan, on her part, had lost nearly 18 pounds during the ordeal. Robert stated that they could have possibly survived for a month or so on the water, spring, and eating oysters, but they would have certainly been in poor shape. Robert's advice for other travelers is to be extremely wise when venturing ashore in that neighborhood. The most important thing is to keep a satellite phone on hand. All of this comes from heart and experience. However, his zest for travel hasn't subsided. Robert has continued yachting and has even travelled to Turkey. He has also replaced the chewed-up dinghy with a sturdy, crocodile-proof aluminium one.